No, 2:00, early evening. Hi, Heather.
How you doing?
We good to start?
What's that?
Good to start or wait, wait?
No, we're supposed to wait till the hour.
I'll let me forget.
Open Meetings Act, you can't start the meeting before it's scheduled. Not
Just in
allowed.
case the angry public is gathering outside. I'm running in.
It is, except for
Then
here.
I just opened up my overhead. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Chris Shaw. Chris. Pinklon.
Yep, yep.
Oh,
Kim, is there a way to tune the owl? Cause mine just kind of drifts all around.
Not that I'm aware of, because ours kind of,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if it
really?
adjusts to like movement or if it's more like sound.
I thought it was sound.
I feel like it adjusts to sound, and so I think if there's more than, probably that's when it.
Kind of bounces
I
around.
just watched mine, it was just kind of
Or no.
drifting around and no one was even saying anything.
It shouldn't, I feel like it shouldn't do that. So like, I think it picks up sound.
Okay, it's 5:00. So call to order for the January 16th LDFA meeting. Roll call, please.
Robert Bishop, Catherine Getty,
Here.
Todd Hurley,
Here.
Peter Katula,
Here.
Eldon Newmeyer,
Here,
Eric Schaefer,
Here.
Kevin Smith.
using the ink pen. Okay, forgot one.
We do have a quorum, so we can proceed.
And do I have a motion?
Yep, motion to excuse the absent.
Motion to excuse the absent people?
Was there notice?
There was not any notice. It's up to you if you want to do it or not.
They didn't call.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to approve the meeting agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Aye.
Agenda approved?
Moved,
Aye.
seconded?
Yeah, I'll second it.
No, you ask all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All opposed? Nay? No? No?
Motion carries. Okay.
All right. Consent agenda, roll call vote.
Motion and a second for that?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Second.
Moved
So-
in,
Okay.
yep, so now it's up to the chair. Say moved and seconded. Any discussion? Well, no discussion on this, sorry.
Then we just take a roll call.
Yep.
Catherine Getty,
Aye.
Todd Hurley,
Aye.
Eldon Newmeyer,
Aye,
Eric Schaefer,
Aye.
Peter Katula.
Aye.
So now I ask for public comment.
Any public comment? Hearing none, we move on. Old business, LDFA plan 2024 and beyond.
Yep, so this is something that's been presented to you folks before. I didn't completely amend what you got in front of you, but obviously High Street is completed now. We just received the final bill for that, so that's been done. Everything else is kind of wish and a hope and a prayer at this point. We don't have, any property that we can, build a new well right now or build a new well construction or anything. State Street lift station replacement is kind of obsolete as that area of the village is moving out of the LDFA district into more transitional mixed use now. And then the wastewater treatment plant obviously was completed. 23 Railroad Street improvement. We did receive engineering for that. And that was paid for as of last year. So, and same with the Irving Street engineering estimates. So other than that, unless we have a plot of land that we can put an industrial park or anything like that, there's not a whole lot for this LDFA to continue on with. So unless we amend the plan, which we'll talk about that under new business.
I talked to one of the landowners to the north of the village. He was not against selling this property. He said he had a figure in mind. I didn't ask him what it was.
I had a similar conversation with him, and he wouldn't offer a figure to me either, so.
Oh,
Yep,
Would that be a viable location for a new well?
yes,
Right.
maybe,
Possibly
possibly,
viable location, smaller industrial park.
yeah.
So it would tie right in for other areas in that area.
So there were some discussions about, oh, you were looking into a couple of well locations and those property owners weren't willing?
Not at this, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, either not willing or unable to contact. We are unable to contact.
We haven't been able to contact the one where we have the current, the old ski hill at all. I went in White Pages, found a number, called it like 10 times, finally got a call back saying, stop calling me, this is the wrong number. So, yeah, just have not had any luck.
Has there been any attempt to contact his current or maybe former business partner?
No.
That might be a conduit.
Yeah, I can reach out to Mr. Dykstra you're talking about, right? Who?
No.
Oh, Yeah.
I don't think that Mr. Dykstra knows
No,
anymore.
probably not.
I would agree that would be a
Yeah,
viable search.
yeah, I can do that. I had to talk to him about something different last week anyway, so I can do that. Yeah.
Oh,
On purpose even.
well, that might be a good way to track that down. It's an ideal location because of the infrastructure that's
Yeah.
already there.
For sure. Yeah, and if we were to do that, then we wouldn't have to amend the plan either.
Are we gonna have to amend, well, we'll get to that, but we
If
may
we,
have to amend the plan anyway if State Street's gonna come out.
I don't think we need to amend it if we're not necessarily going to pursue that, but that's a question I was going to ask the attorney
Okay.
anyhow, so. Any other questions on the plan?
the only thing I can see to extend our life of of the LDFA would be to get a project big enough that we have to, what do you call it, fund it with public funds.
Mm-hmm.
But- So we got to think bigger.
I gotta say, I really truly think the one,
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I believe that one parcel you had spoke of, that would be an ideal spot to extend the LDFA
Mm-hmm.
and move forward if we can proceed somehow with
And it
that.
might encourage the people next door to sell their 10 acres too.
Yes, it'd be a massive step in the right direction, in my opinion, for the LDFA.
The next one is, that resident had, we bought property from him before and moved him out. So,
Yeah. Yeah, everything starts to gel and tie together at that point.
yeah. That seems to be the ideal way to go,
Yes, very much so.
close
The
to the sewer.
infrastructure's all there.
Of course, we could put one west of town, and that way the LDFA could repave Main Street when it needs to be.
We've got a well west of town, and that's one we want to get rid of.
What's that?
We have a well west of town already, and that's one we want to get rid of.
With that being said, and I haven't spoken with you, there is some very, very preliminary ideas of treatment for that well.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's very preliminary. I don't know cost or anything yet, but it's a newer technology. So engineers are looking into that. It's ion exchange is what we're looking at possibly. But
Any other questions on the plan you can answer? Okay.
Moving on to new business.
So you've got an estimate in front of you for Irving Road reconstruction, including water, gutter, sidewalk, the whole works. Which Irving Road as itself is not currently in the plan. If we were to be able to build a well up on the ski hill, we could wrap it up into the whole thing. Well, absolutely. But as it sits right now, it's not in there. So if this board were to fund the reconstruction project this year, we would have to have the plan amended for sure, especially if it doesn't include a well, if we're not able to make contact with the landowner and do that. Otherwise, if the LDFA were to go away, and then funds were to be left with the village, we could look at doing something next year with this project also. But prices keep going up, and we'd much rather get it done this year if at all possible. So if there's a consensus amongst you all here, we can go to our attorney and ask how to amend and include the Irving Street project in the plan this year and make that happen, if that would be your wishes, and we can bring it back for consideration the next meeting in April. Any thoughts on that? Welcome, Kevin.
So can you go through that again? So essentially, you're saying it's 1.6 or 1.7, depending on the quote. Who
Yes.
you go with.
Yep, I'll let Alec
Describe
talk
the
about that.
timing again, though, what you were talking about, extend the LDFA, because this will bleed into next year in terms of like the activity, which would be good, would keep the LDFA extended for at least another year. Is that
Well,
correct?
if we're going to extend the LDFA, we'd have to extend it by 10 years.
Okay.
And then we'd have to get buy-in from all the other jurisdictions, including the county, the community college. And as you recall, when this was first formed, there was a huge project, the Crane Road Bridge, which served a huge need, not only for the village, not only for industry, but the entire county. So, and everybody was able to buy into that. So we would, in my opinion, have to have something that, would be good for all the entities, the township, the county, the community college to buy into, if we're being good stewards of the tax dollars that we're receiving from that. Otherwise, I'm not sure if it makes sense to extend, unless there is a big project that's going to serve the greater need of everybody.
Right. So related to this,
Mm-hmm.
you want to spend some of the money this year and then maybe next year?
I think we would be able to, per Alec's estimate, be able to complete it this year if we were to have it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
misunderstood
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So with the estimate, these are all not finalized numbers. So obviously we haven't went through our 2024 audit yet. But just with our finance director and contractor accountant, we're estimating right now that we have about $2.2 million in the reserve funds at the end of 2024, with an estimated revenue of $855,000 coming in. So if you both those two together, we'd be sitting on a fund balance before any expenses of about just over $3 million. So no expenses at all going into 25. Moving into 25, LDFA had planned to spend on the approved budget was 1.6 million. That includes 1,375,000 towards the Irving Road project. And then also out of funds that were approved to spend out of the LDFA, there's still 109,000 left in the engineering budget for finishing up the Railroad Street plans, and then 105 to finish up the engineering costs for Irving Street plans. Everybody follow me with that? So then total expenses and everything with that. I'll back up. I'm sorry. So then there's an additional, if the LDFA were to approve, a total funding source of 1.6 million for the Irving Road project and new water main, and the new curb and gutter to improve complete rebuild of Irving Road. So that'd be a total expense of 2.1 million, with an estimated reserve funds at the end of 2025 of 945,000. Just a little bit on the Irving Road project itself. Majority or a large percentage of that project is water main itself. So there'd be water main starting at the brand new water main starting at the reservoir, going all the way down to Irving Road, and then Irving Road all the way to Main Street. Currently, that water main was installed in the 40s. I'm not exactly sure when. So it is an 8-inch water main. That reservoir is the main source of and storage of water for any industrial on this side of town. So to have a high quality, reliable water main on that would be very beneficial for industry. Majority or a large percent of that project, about 3,300 feet, is for the water main itself. So there's just about $450,000 is just for water main, and then the remainder is going to be cured in place pipe for the sewer. Then a brand new road construction with Irving Road, and I would say with Irving Road itself, I wouldn't say industrial traffic per se as far as semi-traffic takes a lot, but I would say employees use that quite often to access the industrial areas in town.
And does that 12-inch main then loop with the one on M37?
So yeah, so with that 12-inch, that's one of, if you look at our main trunk lines of water main in town, so if you take Main Street all the way east to west, and then Grand Rapids Street north to south, that 8-inch is one of the last 8-inch in town that we have, and then everything else would be 12-inch of our main trunk lines of water main in town. Actually, in 2019, I believe it was fully funded by Bradford. I don't believe LDFA. There was a 12-inch loop that was installed over on Lincoln Street to assess an additional feed into Bradford White. So it's a straight feed from that reservoir straight through and around that goes back behind Thornberry Apartments, loops in straight to Lincoln Street and straight over to White's.
Okay. Yeah. Went through Joe Miller's property.
No, it actually went through, it's right off of Lincoln, the old Lincoln Street is where it came in at.
That was a 12-inch sewer, the
Yes,
24-inch.
storm drain, yes.
Okay.
Would you be curb, gutter, sidewalk on Irving?
It'd be curb, gutter, sidewalk. Sidewalk would be on the east side of the road only. So there'd be the townhome side of the road.
Yep.
And it would go all the way to the well entrance. Right now, staff and engineers are thinking bang for your buck. Running sidewalk on the west side of the road. There's only a couple residents on the west side of the road, and then you have some elevation issues and grading issues that you'd have to deal with on that large bank for that first little bit. And then we're stopping at the well entrance simply because to go farther, where's a good stopping point, where's a good ending point, that's logistically why we kind of decided that as a stopping point.
Pretty close
Pretty close to,
to the village limit.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you're probably 1,000 feet, but yeah, you're still getting quite a ways.
Is there any problem, do you think, that the LDFA would finance 100% of this?
I don't think so, as long as it's in the plan. We just have to amend the plan and we talk with our attorney and make that happen.
If you read the plan right now,
It's very vague.
you could stretch it
Yeah.
potentially with new well construction and potential plans down the road. But I think we'd want to just verify that with the attorney, because I mean, I could spin it to you to where say, yeah, we can make it happen, but
Well, I remember
it's
when we
not clear cut and dry. That's what
when we
my,
reconstructed Grand Rapids Street, they paid for everything with the water.
Yep.
And now we're putting the water in, so that should be stronger point there too.
Yes.
Well, in order to get to the water, we have to tear up the road and we have to rebuild the road.
And I would say the water main, if you're looking at industrial growth or supporting current industry, that reservoir on that side of town, that's our only storage capacity on this side of the river. So if that water main were to have a catastrophic failure, that could greatly impact negatively impact the industry. So I mean, as far as not being on the plan, other than that, I think it's very in line with LDFA's mission.
It doesn't leave us a lot of money left over for a well, if we do
Yeah.
find a site.
So I would say the well itself, see, and that's where with the well itself, I would say probably $200,000 or under. A lot of times the wells, it's the infrastructure to get to the well. And we're taking care of a lot of that right here. If we can
If we can
proceed,
use that site.
if we use that site, correct, yes. Yeah, we put a well in 2020. Now we didn't have to build any building or infrastructure, but we put well one, which is at that location. We moved that well and drilled a new one. I'm going off memory, but I think that was about 90 to 110,000. That was all brand new well, brand new electronics, new piping. So then if you put some inflation in there, put a building in there, I'm guessing estimating around 200 to 300,000 would just be a shot in the dark. I mean, and right now, I guess at this point, we wouldn't be moving forward to go out to bid because we'd have to be looking at amending the plan. Try and just get a general consensus of yes, 1.6, no, we would prefer to do 1.2, whatever the board's feeling is on it. As you can see from the estimate, we're looking at funding majority of this project through the LDFA. The village does have some reserve funds we can use for this, but we're just trying to use the money we can to try to save some of our reserve funds in our sewer and street budgets for other projects down the road that the LDFA might not be able to support. But I would agree with you, Catherine, that depending on what projects may or may not come up. That's why we're kind of in a limbo state of we don't have any hard set projects in our vision right now that we can potentially, a lot of maybes, a lot of hopefully. But
So what's the ask? Is there like,
the ask would be if the LDFA would consider approving a consensus right now, approving to fund this project with a dollar amount. The ask was 1.6 to give staff approval to look at amending the plan if needed and bringing it back to you guys for a full approval at the next meeting.
Yeah, just looking for a consensus right now,
Yes.
what your interest is, and then we can move forward accordingly and bring something back at the April meeting.
I guess I would sort of lean on Pete and his perspective a little bit, coming from the industrial area along Grand Rapids in which this would serve. And if we do have an opportunity to expand the industrial park, either on that parcel or, or the Bradford parcel at some point in the future, this seems like it's a key piece.
Mhm.
yeah, anything's going to need processed water. And so it's hearing that was some of that infrastructure is 1940 is a little concerning.
Yeah,
And it's the only reservoir on this side of the river.
on this side of the river. Now, we do have crossings that come across the river. One of our crossings was installed in 2015, so we do have reliable crossings, but there's, you always got to plan for worst case scenario.
Certainly, processed water, industrial support for water is critical. And it's probably not a short-term thing. You're looking at putting, 1,400 people out of work for 3 or 4 days while you're down,
Right.
right? So at least and then plus H&L and a few of the other places too, right? They're right over there.
On the catastrophic side.
Yeah.
I mean, a typical break, a typical repair, no, we have lots of valving and other issues to go with. But yes, on a catastrophic side, it could be very detrimental.
On
I'm
the
in
sewer
favor.
part, I know when they went down Whole Street, they found a lot of leakage into the sewer.
Yep.
And so they were able to cure that because there's a lot of springs in the area. And so there was a benefit there to the village by quite a bit. And is there that many springs around the base of the ski hill or where else they'll be going?
To my knowledge, there's not, but we are doing the cured in place pipe on the sewer system as part of this project. The cured in place pipe has actually come down enough in cost to where even if we have the road tore up and we're digging and installing new water main, to dig down that extra 5 to 10 to 15 feet to replace the sewer main, it's still cheaper to do the cured in place pipe if the existing pipe is in good condition, which this is. So if you look at there's actually two estimates from Williamson Works. One estimate is a brand new sewer main, and the other estimate is actually with the cured in place pipe. There's about
It's like $100,000.
just
difference.
shy of $100,000 difference.
Do we take a,
If yeah,
You can just a straw poll. If you're interested in footing the full bill, then I'll bring back some action items at the April meeting for you to consider then.
I guess we'll do one. Is everybody comfortable with the full amount, or would anybody like to see a lesser amount?
I guess I have a question on what's the historical contribution been for other similar projects?
It varies. There's what the East Main Street project, I believe they funded the entirety of it in 2020. High Street here, that was about a 1.2 million, about 1.2, 1.5 million. LDFA funded 750 of it. So it's been 100% at the max, and I've seen as low as 50%. 2016 or 17, we had a resurfacing in Grand Rapids and Main Street. They paid the whole thing. So.
What, I thought if this is all going to get finished this year, why we want to extend it 10 years?
Oh, I don't think, I think unless there was another major project, I don't think it would make sense.
Okay.
I mean, just from your seat, from the
Right.
Grand Rapids Community College, if I were think, there would be a benefit to college if,
Right.
unless we had another major project that was going to serve the college, serve the county, serve the township, serve.
Yeah, I just thought, I heard you say that we come back in April for
No,
plan.
so
Okay.
come back in April to amend the plan in order to include the Irving Road
Gotcha.
project. So
Yep.
right now
Okay.
it's not in there.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then I think you were saying if in fact there was an opportunity for property to build a new industrial park,
Mhm.
then that would be something that would be significant enough where we could pursue extending.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I guess the only other thing I'd just add to the board's mindset is if the estimates are correct and we're leaving the board with roughly just over 945,000, if everything continues as is, 26, we'd be receiving another 800,000-ish in revenue. So we're back right up there to possibly for a new well or land acquisition or whatever we may, if we can continue this.
Well, and the LDFA doesn't have to fund it all, right? I
Oh,
mean, so
yes,
if we need a
100%.
new well and we have some
Yes.
Yes.
We have
money in
reserve.
reserves,
Yes.
Yes.
it can be a partnership with
Absolutely.
other funds.
So a straw poll of interest in funding the whole thing? Yes, seems there is.
Okay. All right. I will get with Mr. Nettleton and we'll get some action items for you in April regarding that.
Thank you.
Next piece of business is elections.
Yep. So currently, Pete is the chair, Eldon is the vice chair, treasurer is Eric, and secretary is Todd. You're not allowed to serve the same role for more than 2 consecutive years. So currently Pete is in his first year as chairman. Eldon is technically first year as vice chair. Eric is in his second year as treasurer, and Todd is in his second year as secretary. So neither of them can have the same exact role for the next 2 years, but you can always flip-flop if you want to, or appoint somebody new.
Pete, are you willing to continue as chair?
Yes, I've got the rules down so well. I probably need another year to practice, I suppose.
I would nominate Pete for chair.
Support.
Second. Do we have to take a roll call on this?
No, so if you want, what you could do is you could propose a slate for nominations, if you want to do
them
that.
all, then take a
Do it
vote.
all at the same
Yeah,
time.
let's do that.
Okay, that's the chairman. Any discussion on vice chair? Or
Alden?
you can do it
Yes, too
another
many
year?
questions.
Would you like to do it another year?
Yes, I will.
I nominate Eldon.
Vice chair.
Yeah, treasurer.
Treasurer cannot be Eric.
Well, that's a good reason.
Kevin, you're lucky you showed up.
Yeah, who's not here?
Yeah.
Bishop is not here.
Bishop's getting something. No nominations? Treasurer can't be,
Can't be Eric, cannot be, it only cannot be Eric.
okay.
It can be anybody else.
I
Or
nominate
Eldon or me.
Catherine again.
And Bishop's getting one of the last three because he's not here.
We can volunteer him.
Yeah.
So Catherine for treasurer? No.
Sure.
And then
Catherine.
secretary?
So Catherine's treasurer.
No,
Oh, okay.
So next is secretary.
Secretary cannot be Todd.
right.
Okay. Do we nominate Bishop?
Yeah, except for, I think we want to nominate a secretary that's consistently been able to make the meetings.
True, because then you have to sign. Yeah.
Eric, would you be secretary?
So now with the slate in front of you, you've got, be, in order to have a motion and second to approve this, to elect the slate of officers.
So, right, so do I introduce that or?
Yep, you
Yep.
can say,
So we need a motion to introduce the slate of officers being Chairman Pete, Vice Chairman Eldon, Treasurer Catherine, Secretary Eric.
yep. And then record, should include recording secretary would be deputy clerk.
And the recording secretary is the deputy clerk. So do I have a motion to approve that slate?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
There you go. Kevin gets in the
You got
meeting.
3.
Okay. So let's take, do we roll call for this?
You don't need a roll call for this.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Great.
All approved. 2025 election of officers is complete. Managers report.
Yep, you got it in your packet. The only addition, there's been some talk amongst this group about the ability or inability to help with trails and such, which we received notes that we are not able to, with this board to fund trails of any way, shape, or form. However, we did receive some positive vibes from the state. We're planning on applying for some hefty grants in order to fund that. The replacement of the trail bridges and resurfacing of the trail from the village to from downtown to Irving Road. So about a one
Irving?
McCann, excuse me.
Boy, we got really excited. there.
Sorry.
I was caught in a box real quick. I seen your eyes. I said,
My bad there, but anyhow, so I'm going to be making my rounds, asking for entities for letters of support and things like that, and some additional seed monies, and so that's moving. That's some good positive news. So other than that, unless anybody has any questions.
No other questions? Any other business? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you, everybody.
It's a little choppy still.
It's a heavy gavel, isn't it?
It is a heavy.
Yeah.
She was 5 years old.